having a little technical difficulties here. So, okay. So then I wasn't feeling right the next day. After I'd closed the portals, I wasn't feeling right. Like, really not feeling right. Like, I was going downhill fast. And I was texting with Ingrid, and she was like, you know, get out of your pity thing or whatever. And I kept hearing myself say, this is not that, this is not that. There's something deeper going on here. And I've always watched shows about possession. I've always known about how people can get taken over, but never in my wildest dreams did I think that would happen to me. I don't know. I just thought, untouchable or something, like I may go through stuff, but that's not going to happen. Well, that next day, I knew something was wrong. And I was like being disconnected, or my electronics were being screwed with. And it was like I disconnected from my heart completely. And I wanted to take one of my, what they call exit points, like die. I'm out of here. I'm done. But it was like arguing with somebody in a sense, but like, this doesn't sound like me. This is not, like, I've been there a million times. I've been to the brink of, that's it, I'm checking out. I don't want this anymore. I can't handle it. I don't like the dark. I don't, like most sensitives, we go through that. And there have been times I plotted. Yeah, I'm going to sit in the car and I'm going to, asphyxiate myself that way because it's less painful than hanging yourself, although I did consider that once in the garage. But, there's a self-talk that you have that it's you. Except one other time with a medication, but I'll go. Yeah, that's another conversation. But so this time it was not letting me go. Whatever it was not letting me go. And all of a sudden, it's almost like a car jerk where it's like you're driving along, somebody's trying to steer the wheel for you, and you're just like, stop, stop, stop. And then all of a sudden you yank the wheel and you both kind of go, careening into the side. Well, it was kind of like I was doing that inside my head, where all of a sudden I'm like, I need divine light creator source quick. I need, angelic help stat, and it was something I'd never experienced before. Well, fast forward like 2 days, I got validation from my dad, who came through to Ingrid to say, yeah, you were followed home, and it was 2 entities that were doing this. And I had to, again, clear them the way that I did with the portals by sending them off into white light with compassion, with love. And so it is done, and thank you, thank you, thank you. When I did that, I had a couple of channel drawings that I did after that point. And the first one, I saw myself being hauled off like by angels, like an etheric ER, where I saw myself just on a stretcher and being whisked off by 4 angels. And then the next thing I knew, there was something called a Council of 9, which I really didn't have any information on. And when you're going through this, it's like you don't ask any questions, you just need, divine intervention. And so I imagined I saw these, 9 beings. They had beautiful blue hooded outfits on, long robes kind of thing. And each one was lined up in front of me, 9 of them. And they were just like blasting my heart with just love, like, right into my heart space. Because they were, whatever those beings were doing was disconnecting and screwing with my neurological system, my electronics or something, to where I wanted to check out, to where it's like, I have no feeling, I'm numb, I don't care, I'm out. And that didn't feel like the normal me. Normally when I want out, I still have feelings. I still have pain. I still have, anguish that I have to work through. So I saw them doing that with me. And the next part, I know some people just aren't gonna get, but, sorry about that. But it was my experience. So the last couple of years, I've done had a couple of dreams, channel drawings, where I was on a ship, a ship. And so again, I went back to that ship. I was laying on like you know, what do they call it? Just like a bed or whatever. But I was like out of it. And there was another one of those beings standing over me, you know, watching as I had two crystals on either side of my brain, kind of something going over my head. And it was like they were fixing the neurologicals, the electrical system in my brain to reconnect to my heart space. Because if you don't have heart space, man, you have, I don't know what happens, but we're all part of divine white light creation. We are part of creator source, whether we think we're dark or light or whatever. So I don't know what that happens, where you go, what happens. That's not within my awareness right now, but it was bad. And so they were reconnecting my electrical system to my heart space, and I was like out of it until they did that. And then a little while later, I was just like, yeah, opening my eyes going, oh my God, I'm back. And that was really something I'd never experienced before, but I knew it was part of my learning, part of my education. I was ready for the next level of energy knowledge. So I had drawn those three, and I can show you those after. So when I made that first video the other day where I was just coming across like scared, that was during that time. That was during them picking on me, essentially, because I fell below. I fell into that low frequency of emotion. You know, I wasn't happy, joyful, you know, just neutral. I was, you know, feeling some stress, and they can take full advantage of that if you're not aware. And what I also learned was that, you know, if you have trauma in your life, there's many ways that you can, and I remember having a reading where my 30s, where my aura was ripped. And I had no idea what that meant, but if somebody tells you your aura is ripped and you're kind of spiritual, you're like, that can't be a good thing. How do I fix that? And that kind of led me down another path of learning. But you can lose like pieces of yourself, of your soul fractals, when you're faced with some pretty tough situations as a kid. So that being said, when that happens and you have a breach of some sort, that's like a doorway open for these beings to almost keep you in a stronghold or a pattern of looping with negative thoughts. So we think that it's us, but it's possible that you have a break somewhere. And I saw that with my father. Like, I felt his pain all the time. I felt his anguish. Some of it was his from the life and the things that I found out about him, but I knew what these things were doing here at this house were also, you know, screwing with him. The other thing was, a couple of nights after that, met with Ingrid again. We were up till 3 a.m. Both my mom and dad came through. And my dad happened to say, "What took you so long?" when we were talking about the house. What I had done the next morning after I went through this thing with, I don't want to call it a possession, but maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I don't know the correct definition. You know, we only see what we see in the movies, and it's, you know, really dramatic and whatever. This wasn't so dramatic. It was scary, but it's like looking at myself from the outside while I was inside myself. I don't know. Either way, so what I had done was that next morning, I was still in that super white light energy, the creator source energy, and I was told to pretty much put like a pyramid over the house, and at the end of each corner to put a ball of light, pure white creator source light. And then I asked into it, and I'm like, why is this happening? And what I got was, I saw this image. Now this is like where the channel drawing comes in again. I'm getting an image of, like, our land is way older than they tell us it is. And here it was just all fields. And it was indigenous people that were lined up. Like, they were 10 or 12 warriors face to face with their weapons on this land, and they're ready to do battle. And then they do battle, and they're all dead. So it was to the death, and I'm like, why? What's the point of all this? Why are they fighting? And then I get shown like right below the earth. And this is all new information for me after the last 2 years going through the shadow stuff about things living in Middle Earth or whatever. So I'm not really going to get into that part of it. But I'm going to say that what I saw was something I'd never seen before in my personal experience, just heard of. And below the earth was a huge fire. And that was the fire that I drew that was in the bedroom and didn't know what it was attached to. Why is this here? And so what I was guided to do again was take another pyramid, attach it to the one that's this way over the house. In fact, my drawings are at home, or the other house, but I'll show you essentially. Do a quickie for you.